Hey, welcome to another episode of GeekOutdoors.com. So AMD versus Intel. This is a battle that is as old as I can remember in the whole tech industry. And it's one that's always exciting and sometimes unpredictable. But for the most part, for years and years now, Intel has dominated, specifically in the CPU space. And AMD, over the years, recently has really made a lot of noise and in quite a few good ways, and that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today. So just recently, AMD announced their AMD Rome second generation Epyc server-side CPUs. These are 64 cores, 128 threads, and it's not for the average consumers because each one of these CPUs is about $7,000. And we've also heard recent rumors that the current AMD CEO, Lisa Su, might be heading over to IBM to become their new CEO, but we'll see how that pans out. But that's not really what's interesting to me at this point. What's interesting to me is everything that AMD has been doing in these past few years, and at least for me, these past few years is around 2016 or 2015, and that's when AMD really started to make a comeback in the space of not only CPUs but also in GPUs, specifically against Nvidia. And so for me, my reintroduction back into the whole AMD world, at least for the desktop system, is with the GPUs. I have an AMD RX 470 GPU. This is based upon the Polaris structure, and that was something that was new at that time, and it sold really well for them. Now, in terms of the CPU space, I've been using AMD based computers, their chips, ever since the AMD dual core, the Turion days. That's how long I've been using them. And a lot of the computers that I've used since then, specifically in laptops, have all had an AMD CPU in them. It's just now recently that I've been using more of Intel. My desktop, I actually have an Intel Core i7 6700K. But now with everything that AMD has been doing over the years, I think I'm going to go back completely to AMD. So now I'm looking to get an AMD CPU with their new Ryzen lines, their Zen lines, and also their GPU. I'm looking to upgrade my GPU to an AMD GPU as well. And so why do I talk about all these things? Well, it's because of all these things that AMD has been doing. It's really going back to what they did so well, which is provide the best value plus performance. And performance is the key thing that they've been missing for so many years, and that is why Intel has dominated for so long. And even on the GPU front, Nvidia has also dominated for performance, although not as huge of a gap as it has in the CPU space with Intel. And this is really exciting for me because it really makes me more excited just about computing in general. And currently why I'm excited about AMD is for the graphics side right now. With my AMD RX 470 GPU, even though it is an old GPU, I'm able to play so many games that I want, modern games that I didn't think I was really interested in because I didn't really see the benefit of it. But now that I've had Steam, and specifically with the compatibility layer for Linux, I'm able to enjoy a lot of modern games, and they're all using my AMD GPU, which is running great. And so I can't wait to see how much better my experience is with a better GPU. And then getting to the CPU side. Right now I have a pretty powerful CPU, even though it is a few years old with the Intel Core 6700K. But now that these new CPUs have come out, these Ryzen CPUs for the consumer base, they're really going to allow me to do more of what I enjoy, which is creating content. The AMD CPUs are just so much better at multi-core processing, and at the same time, going back to the price versus value, they're not only giving you really great power at an amazing price, but the performance is so good right now. And with the multi-core, it handily beats the Intel's best CPUs right now, at least in the consumer space, when you compare it per dollar. Now, Intel is obviously going to release their own new CPUs as always, but I really feel that with all the work that AMD has been doing over the years, they're really giving Intel a run for the money, and they're really forcing Intel to just not rest on their laurels. Intel has kind of been slacking in the whole consumer space, and that's because they really haven't had much competition in that area. Even though AMD has been around, AMD just really has never recaptured those moments that I remember when they released the dual core CPUs back in days. And even with the GPUs have never really gotten close to where the Nvidia levels are. But once again, ever since they released their Polaris line of GPUs, with the Radeon GPUs, and now with the new Navi GPUs, it's going to be a whole different story. And I think a lot of people will probably agree with me that more and more people are going back to AMD, and in a very good way. And then for us as consumers, you know, we always talk about AMD versus Intel, which is better. And obviously my answer is always going to be the consumer wins. You know, which is better? Well, honestly, whichever one works best for you. But for my personal opinion, the AMD CPU GPU combos looks like to be the best in my opinion, especially for consumers. So that's just my thoughts today. I just been reading a lot about the news, and I've just loved my AMD GPU more and more. Now that's not to say I don't love my Intel 6700K CPU. That's awesome and everything. But once I make the next upgrade, it's going to be all AMD, and I'm happy to be going back to that. So if you actually had any thoughts on this, whether you are an AMD user, an Intel user, an Nvidia user, or maybe a combo of all three, be sure to leave that in the comments area below. And as always, if you did get value out of these videos, be sure to share, like, and subscribe. Hey geeks, if you are a creative geek like me and you wanted to learn how to create content on YouTube and other places on the internet, then check out my Gold Content Creators Group, where you'll get access to 30 videos plus additional content for all the creative geeks out there. And the best part of it is, all of this is free. Simply head over to the link below, check out my page, and sign up for my Gold Content Creators Group. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the other side. Thanks for checking out this episode. And as always, if you like these videos, be sure to click on the subscribe button. And for full written content, audio content, and additional geek stuff, head over to geekoutdoors.com, and I'll see you outdoors on the very next episode.